Coming up on this episode of Legit Street Cars. In my last Caprice video, we reinstalled the engine and fired it up for the first time with open headers. Needless to say, it's time to complete the exhaust and button up the rest of the car, for in this video, we finished the project by tuning the Legit Pursuit vehicle at Speed Inc. in Schaumburg, Illinois, and then going for a little blast. We have a lot to do in this video, no time to waste, so let's get to work. Now, a little gold mine that I discovered is even if you don't buy AMSOIL products, you can go to their website, and I'll leave it linked down below, and you can type in your car, so 2002 Chevy Caprice, and it'll tell you the fluid capacities of everything, engine, transmission, differential, all that kind of good stuff. And it'll even tell you the torque spec, so 18 foot-pounds for the drain plug. A lot of other good information. They sell really good quality filters. Full disclosure, I have become an AMSOIL dealer recently. I use their products on the EcoVet, and these squeeze pouches are amazing, so you don't have to use a pump if you have a transmission that requires you to pump the fluid in, like mine. See, there's a little plug that's normally here. We pump it in, and then we're gonna start this thing up, warm it up, and then we're gonna drain the fluid from right here, and when it stops coming out, we know the level is right. So anyway, link down below if you guys are interested in AMSOIL products. You can save 25% by signing up as one of my preferred customers, and I really appreciate it. That kind of stuff helps out the channel and gets you guys some really, really good oil. And we are moving on to this. This is a solo performance exhaust system. This is made for the Chevy SS and the Chevy Caprice, and it utilizes their latest muffler design. So this is called a cyclone muffler. So it uses a Venturi effect. It actually pulls exhaust gases from the low and the high pressure side of the engine to create the most horsepower and the most natural engine sound. So I'm really, really excited for this. I am using high flow catalytic converters. Those aren't gonna really reduce our horsepower at all. And this is all mandrel bent 3-inch 409 stainless steel. And check this out. This is crazy. So in the back, instead of having two mufflers, we have this. Just looks like a bunch of piping, really. But take a look at this one here. See how this is welded shut? This is called a J-pipe. You can actually change the length of this little pipe right here, and it'll affect the sound. So you can reduce drone this way. You can just kind of make your car sound a little bit different. And this is basically a direct bolt-on kit. I think we have to cut some flanges off that would have normally gone on the Chevy SS, but other than that, maybe like an hour. It uses all the factory hangers as well. So I'm gonna get to work. We're gonna see what this thing sounds like here, and then more importantly, we're gonna hear this thing ripping on the dyno. All right, the complete exhaust is complete, including the factory tailpipes, which I'm going to show you in a minute all the way back there. It is the next day. I finished up the exhaust install and then went over to my local exhaust shop and they welded the factory police tailpipes in, and this looks amazing. So Cook's headers, everything else is solo. These are their high flow catalytic converters, and it all fit really, really nicely. So this kit is meant for the Chevy SS or the Chevy Caprice PPV. Very, very good quality. And I know this is gonna look weird, and normally this kit would come with some really nice looking tailpipes, but I'm going for the sleeper look, as I said. So I had them weld in kind of the old crusty looking tailpipes, not even cleaning them. I'm leaving them just like this. But this is really, really cool and unique. I've never seen anything like this in the back. So normally there'd be a muffler here and another one on this side. Really, really happy with this. It's the next day. This hasn't ran in roughly 18 hours. So you know what we gotta do next. I cannot get enough of how American this Australian Caprice sounds. I could listen to that all day long. No radio needed in this car any longer. And we only have one more performance part to install before the bumper goes on and before we head over to Speed Inc. for the dyno tune and see what this thing puts down. And that would be an OTR cold air intake. This is like a ram air intake system, and it's from my friends at Improved Racing. I'll leave a link down below, and they have a ton of awesome performance parts. Without further ado, let's install our cold air / ram air intake. Charge the AC up. We need that, and we're good to go. All right, our new intake is installed and looking amazing. This took maybe a half an hour. The instructions are great, really easy to follow, very high quality kit, and it fit perfectly. It even comes with some little side covers here to clean things up a bit. One there, one there. I know I need a cap for the washer fluid, but that's extremely important on a police car, especially because there's a bunch of wiring in here. It kind of looks ugly, so that covers that all up. But most importantly, now we are gonna get the coldest air possible running into our engine, and that is because we have this huge scoop right here, right in front of the radiator, and then it's gonna get air in from these two as well, and you can see the air filter right there. So this is kind of a best case scenario for an air induction system, and this is gonna complement our long tube headers, our bigger camshaft perfectly. It's a great modification to kind of complete the entire package. So with that, we are moving on to installing the front bumper, and then we're just simply driving over to the dyno. All right, so it's a couple days later and I've put about 100 miles on the Caprice. AC is charged up. I'm loving it. Driving this car is so much fun. And now that it sounds like this, it's even better. So we are at Speed Inc. in Schaumburg, Illinois, and take a look at this minty, fresh, 4th gen Z28 Camaro in this super rare purple color with this factory body kit, factory wheels. You do not see this every single day. And this thing is seriously just perfect. It's like a time capsule. So Jim is finishing up with this car, and then the Caprice is headed to the dyno. All right, while Jim is strapping the Caprice down, let me just quickly go over the mods in case you didn't see the earlier videos. So the camshaft, we're running an England Green Mayhem 3 camshaft. It's a 234, 240 144 duration on a 630 lift and a 113 LSA. We are running the Cook's long tube headers and the Solo Performance complete exhaust all the way back, and it is running high flow catalytic converters, and then we have the OTR ram air cold air intake that you guys just saw me install, and it has a Circle D 3800 multi-disc torque converter, and that is it. Everything else is stock, so let's get to tuning. It is so loud. All right, you guys probably can't see this. This is the first time I've seen it, but in the glare of the light at this level, I can see it says West Palm Beach on the side. So I knew this came from Florida, but now we have a little bit more of a specific area of Florida. All right, so that was our first pull in the Caprice. Place your guesses in the comment section right now. What do we have? 447 wheel horsepower and 406 foot-pounds of torque. Not bad. Jim, what do you think of the horsepower and torque for our first run?
I think it's good. Guess you did a good install. It's not falling apart yet.
That's awesome. Now, what are you going to do with the transmission? Are you going to be able to tune the transmission control unit?
Yeah, initially I just gave you a base file and your engine controller, and the TCM is what I'm making some changes to now as well, necessary with the aftermarket torque converter. The stock torque converter slip tables actually allow for some slip while it's locked up, and that'll take out an aftermarket converter and if you don't zero that out. We also need to raise the shift points to match the power band of the engine now that it has a larger camshaft, and reduce torque management to make it shift, bring back some of the shift firmness that you're going to lose with the looser torque converter.
Okay, and what do you think the shift points will be?
Well, it's looking like your peak power is about 65, 6600, so we'll set the shift points a couple hundred RPM over that, so you're hovering right over that peak horsepower level through as much time as you can during acceleration.
All right, we're done with run number 2, so we're gonna go see what kind of power she made. But if you're curious, Jim did need to pull the fuse for the ABS system. Even if you turn the traction control off in the car, it's still semi-active, so it doesn't allow you to dyno the car. And let's take a look. And we gained a solid 10 horsepower, 457 wheel horsepower, 414 foot-pounds of torque.
The power increase was largely due to increasing the timing. So initially you run it a little more conservative because you don't know exactly where the air fuel is going to be. So after we get that close, we can start putting timing in it and see what it likes the best.
And what kind of air fuel are you shooting for?
13 to 1. Okay. So you might end up with slightly less timing and a little bit richer air fuel right at peak torque, but that's your general average of what you're going for.
This will stay flex fuel, right? If I put an 85 in there, it'll adjust automatically?
Yeah, we can run it. And alcohol you know, if you want, see if it makes any difference. I'm not sure if it'll pick up any power being naturally aspirated, but yeah, we can tune it on alcohol as well.
God, I love the LS. Just look at how clean and compact these engines are. So easy to work on, and they make crazy good power, just reliable, just everything. Top 5 engines ever made. All right, so third run, we keep on gaining 460 wheel horsepower, 416 foot-pounds of torque. And right now, Jim is playing with air, fuel, and timing. And up next, we're gonna be adding some ethanol into the tank. It's E100. I have about a half tank of 93, so it won't be exactly E85. It'll be pretty close though, and we're gonna see if we can pick up any power with a little bit of alcohol. All right, E100 is going in. So Jim put 10 gallons of E100 in. We just started it up. We're gonna let it run in the dyno a little bit just to cycle the fluid through. And you can see right now, just out of the pump here in Chicago, we're at 9% alcohol content. So we're running about E10 here in Chicago and a lot of the Midwest. And there you have it. We're right around 69% for the alcohol content. That is pretty good. Actually, that's a little bit higher than I thought it was gonna be, considering I showed up to the dyno with a little less than a half tank. So let's see how much of a difference alcohol makes on a naturally aspirated LS. Looking good, looking good. Woo, it's hot under here. All right, let's see what ethanol has added for power. 461, we gained a solid 1 horsepower.
So this gained 1 horsepower on the E85, which is to be expected with it being naturally aspirated and not really high compression ratio. The side effect of being at a higher alcohol content is that you run out of injector. So we're at nearly 100% duty cycle at 66% alcohol. So not really worth running in this case, but at least we could verify the air fuel's correct, and it is an option if need be.
I say for 3,800 stall, it feels pretty good.
Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
I put a 4,000 in my Trans Am like 12 years ago, and it was so loose. That's a little faster than before.
Yeah, feel better in stock.
All right, here's my first drive, and yes, I see the headliner, guys. If you know of anyone around Chicago that does headliners, comment down below. Here we go, here we go. Woo, you can smell that ethanol. I gotta say, the converter feels amazing. You know you got a good quality converter when it has that higher flash stall speed. We have a 3,800 in this case, but it still feels kind of tight. It's not that mushy driving around. So let's put this trans in sport shift mode. A couple of things you guys might be wondering. We dynoed the car in 4th gear, which is pretty close to 1-to-1. He did lock up the torque converter. And if you think about this, we've gained over 100 horsepower. So these come factory with like 360 horse at the crank. So maybe like 320 at the wheels. And we're at 460 with a cam and headers. That is insane. So here we go. A little bit of a stretch here. Woo! Still spinning. All right. Whoa. Wow, we were spinning the tires forever. Hold on, let me roll the window up. Hopefully you guys heard that. Jesus! Hang on a second. Let's go from a dig. Oh, I can't wait to go to the track with this thing. Oh, perfect shifts. Guys, get yourself a Caprice. Put a cam, exhaust, and a converter in it. This is so much fun. Oh my gosh, we've gained, what's the math on that? Let's just say it did 330 an hour. We get 130 horsepower with this car. Crazy. And honestly, it drives, after Jim's tune, it drives totally stock. Now that we're out of it, I'll pop the AC on and we're good to go. It's comfortable. Just a nice, comfortable big car. And now a very fast, comfortable big car. Oh man. So what's next with the Caprice? Now that we're kind of done with this kind of stage one, legit street car stage one, you know, these types of projects never end. I might do some more modifications. Actually, I know I'm gonna be doing some more modifications. My friend Jeremy from Faster Proms in Florida has shipped me out a Camaro SS differential. It's a direct bolt-in. So this is like a 290 or something like that gear. So we'll be putting a 327 gear. So just a little bit of an increase in the gear ratio. Should help us off the line a little bit. So that's in the mail from Jeremy right now. I'm gonna pop that differential in, and then I'm looking for drag radials, 18-inch drag radials that will fit on these really heavy steel wheels. I get it, they're heavy, but you know the look I'm going for, so I don't care. I wanna get some drag radials on those wheels that aren't gonna set an ABS light on. They can't be that big of a difference than the front, which I think are like 235 something 18. So I gotta do some research on some drag radials. I do have a Zex nitrous kit for the car. It's a wet kit, which we'll probably put on realistically. It's sitting in the garage. And we're gonna drag race this car. I'm gonna wait till the weather cools down a little bit. We're gonna bring it to the quarter-mile drag strip and we'll see what she runs. I think this car weighs like 4,300 pounds, something like that. So I don't know, mid-11? Put your guesses down below. Something in the 11s, I would hope, and then if we spray it, maybe the 10s. And then we'll see what the winter brings as far as modifications. I'm getting the Legit Street Cars logo. I'm not wearing my shirt today. I'm getting that logo on the side of the white doors. And then we might do like legit pursuit vehicle on the back quarters where it would normally say emergency 911. I may end up putting a normal back seat here. It's not that cool having that plastic prisoner seat back there because no one can go for a ride, primarily my kids. So I'll probably put a normal back seat in the rear and maybe some different speakers. I don't know, who knows? But let me know in the comment section what you want to see me do with the Caprice. So with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope you enjoyed this little Caprice series. It's not over yet, but we're kind of at a good finishing point right now. So I hope you enjoyed all of this. If you haven't already, hit that like button, share the video, subscribe if you're new. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Just do it. It's a button, it's free. And most importantly, have an awesome day. I'll catch all of you in the next video.